Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show Into the Night with Shawn and Tara. How is everybody doing today? Well, I'll tell you what, it's hotter than hell. And I'm not from Alabama or down south where I could like hot on a cat tin roof or hotter than, a fish, like dying in the water or something like that. It is hotter than hell up here in Pittsburgh. So, I do have a fan on, so if anybody hears anything like a little noise in the back, please, bear with it. Okay, so September is Suicide Awareness Month, okay? And I just want to put it out there that due to the weather and due with all the crappy stuff that's going on in the world today, just if you meet somebody who needs help, please, just talk to them, be there for them. They might not want to talk or nothing like that, but because they might do something stupid or whatever. But please, it is Suicide Awareness Month, and so let's pray for the people. Hey, Squatch Man, good to see you, buddy. Tara, Squatch Man, Tara.
Hey, Scotch Man.
So please be there for somebody. Now, September is Suicide Month. It's an awareness month for the suicide. So now my friend Tara here, she's going to explain what she has, and believe it or not, this disease that she has and my friend Sue has, and others out there. This is kind of a bad month. So, Tara, could you please talk about the CRPS?
Sure. November is Worldwide Complex Regional Pain Syndrome Awareness Month, and it affects people all over the world differently. It can affect a body part that's had a trauma or a surgery, and it can spread to other regions of your body. Mine is full body because I had a blunt force head trauma, and there are support groups out there. There are a bunch of different people out there who have communities that you can learn from. If you guys need any information on any of that, please let me know. It's an excruciating pain. On the pain scale, it is known as the highest pain you can have. It's above burning. It's above amputation. It's above everything, childbirth, you name it. It's also known as the suicide disease. A lot of people were put on high doses of pain medication because of it, and because of the crackdown on opioids were taken off of them. So a lot of people don't know how to live this way. A lot of people don't know how to act this way. It's a very big learning curve. I'm learning. There are simple things that you can do to make it a little bit easier on you, but your pain will always be there. And that's what a lot of people don't realize.
It's funny because it's not funny, but I remember my dad back in 1985, he was in the doctor's office, right? And so the doctor, said, well, why don't you get this operation? Okay. And I believe my father had that disease, the CRPS disease, because my dad was in total pain every day until up to when the cancer really absorbed his body and he passed away. He had it in his left arm because that's what they operated on. I forget what the operation was. That's been like 33 years ago. But I remember
Mm-hmm.
my dad, being like really, really in pain. And what they did was that they gave him a TENS machine. Okay. Now, see, at the time, that was 30 years ago. This disease has never been heard of. So the doctors really didn't know what was happening. Um, but they gave him a TENS machine, and he had to move it every time he felt some pain. So,
Yep.
people out there, please, this is a very serious illness. CRPS, and I think it's RSA. Well, oh, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. I never heard of that one. Um,
That's
okay,
what it was
so Mike,
formerly known as, RSD.
oh, it was okay. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. I
Yep.
hope you're feeling. I hope everything's cool with you, brother. But please, this disease, uh, just be there for somebody tonight, okay, or every day, whatever you can, because I know um, my friend Sue and Tara, man, they really mean like a whole lot to me. Um, that's good, Mike. I'm glad it doesn't. Um, but please pray for them because we all need prayers about this. Oh, I forgot to tell you that you can catch my show Into the Night on UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. I'm on Tuesday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Terra 2, and it's every Tuesday night. Hey, Roger, good to see you, buddy. Howdy to you, too. Um, but yeah, so UPRN Talk Radio has a lot of good shows on it every day of the week. I do believe they have some on Sundays. You got now right after me, you got Trish Moe, and her show is called The Missing Piece, um, and it's a great show. It really, really is. I know that it's Central Time, so my show gets done at 10. So I guess her show gets done starts around 9:15, whatever. But I've known Trish for a long time, and she has very good shows. She's very knowledgeable at what she does, and I enjoy her shows. But okay, so we are here. Welcome again, everybody. Um, like here in Pittsburgh, it's like what am I looking at? 90 some degrees out right now with the humidity. And I'm up in my office, which is the attic, so I got a fan going. So bear with me. So Tara, what was that we talked about earlier today that you wanted to bring up?
So I was thinking that we could discuss the upcoming holidays and how they affect people that are quote unquote normal and people that are quote unquote paranormal, and how they affect them and what the differences are. And I mean, you and I have taught different people, we have grown with other people, we have friends on both sides of the fence. So it'd be an interesting topic considering we have a lot of things coming up.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah, because
Yeah.
from what I understand, everyone's calling September, the month of September, also Halloween Eve. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
mean, I
Yep.
could. Roger Blair says it got up to 96 degrees here where I live in eastern Kentucky today. I know, man.
Phew,
I know, Roger. It's like
dude.
crazy. Um, I don't know. Could be,
Now, do
certain
y'all have
people.
humidity down that way in Kentucky?
Yeah. Roger, do you have humidity down there? 'Cause I know we have it up here. And here's the crazy part, right, guys? Uh, my job, I'm a meat cutter, so my room, the room that I work in, is actually like 49 degrees. So when I step out of the meat room and I go into this hot air, it like drives me crazy. But back to what you were talking about. I feel
Yeah.
Halloween in the air.
How
You know what I mean? I
What's
feel
that?
Halloween in the air. I feel Halloween in the air.
Hmm.
Okay. Sebastian says
Now,
it's
what does
very
that
here
mean?
that it's in North England. Sebastian is very hot in North England there. But
Oh, wow.
what it
Okay.
means is that it's like I get the feeling it's like all of a sudden, like in the grocery stores, they got the Halloween candy going on already. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
and it just seems like I don't know. It's a really crazy feeling that I have. It's like I look at the different ads and I look at the different things, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how I would like to go to a pumpkin patch because I've never been to a pumpkin patch. The only thing close to a pumpkin patch was Charlie Brown's Halloween, whatever it was called, the Great Pumpkin. But I knows that I just see a lot of people walking around and they're not happy
Right.
at all. And I kind of like bring up Halloween. Hey, Tommy Miller. You ready for fall too, buddy? That's cool. Tommy's like my number one follower. He's been on for 5 years now. Good to
Nice.
see
Hi,
you here,
Tommy.
Tom.
That's
But
crazy because you live so close to Trex Farms, but then too, I've heard that a lot of the harvests for different things were screwed up this year with the rain and heat and different things like that too. Do you think that affected maybe some of the local pumpkin patches?
it could have. I mean, come on, seriously. I I'm thinking I'm like going to a pumpkin patch and drinking hot apple cider and crap like that. I'm waiting for the leaves to change,
Yeah.
and it's like insane. And I'm thinking, do I really want to do it? Do I really want to do this? But with Halloween in September, also you got the pumpkins, the candy, and all the costumes going up. Um, they got the big Halloween store going right now. They're
Yep.
open, and so it's like I'm ready. But then again, I'm not. And does
Yeah.
that, like you were saying, how does that affect us, paranormal wise, or just being normal wise?
Right. Right. I mean, normal people see things going up in early September for, the pumpkin patch and different things like that. And, they get their kids all ready to go and, spooky stuff comes on TV and they're all excited and they have their hot apple cider. Some people drink like blueberry cider, different ciders that I never knew existed until recently because there's a local farmers market that sells them here in Butler. And, then it like snowballs into we start to get phone calls in the paranormal community,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
and the other thing is too, you have all of these things coming into the movies in the next few weeks. We have a new Nun movie. It's the Nun 2. There's a new Conjuring movie coming out. There's a new Exorcist movie coming out. So is that going to snowball into people calling us?
Oh, absolutely. It does all the year. Every year it does. Now I remember the movie, The Woman in Black, right? The
Yep.
Woman in Black. I remember that weekend they released it into the movie theaters, right? And
Hmm.
then what happened was I got like 30 emails Monday morning. I saw The Woman in Black. I'm like, no, you
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. But I, 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 I believe that I just get excited. I always did like Halloween, you know. But believe it or not, okay, and I want to share this with people out there. When it came to Halloween and doing paranormal investigations, I kind of like didn't really want to do them. You know what I mean? I mean, every year I had my certain places where I went to. The Marcos down in Uniontown. Sometimes at the Carnegie Library, and but when it seemed to actually, or go speak somewhere at the library or something like that. But you know what? I just really, for me, it wasn't pleasant. I just didn't want to do it. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Um, And
Well, last year we did do something kind of fun the end of September. We went to the Oddities Expo out in Monroeville and spoke, you and I. One of us did Saturday and one of us did Sunday. So what did you think of that?
oh, the Oddities Fair. Oh, that was freaking sweet, man. That was cool. I never
When we
saw
went
so
last
much.
year.
What's that?
It was in our
Oh,
ballpark. It was in our ballpark, but it wasn't the hokey Halloweeny stuff. You know what I mean?
true. Michael Anthony goes, they are pushing the paganism of Halloween. It's everywhere. It's been out in the stores everywhere all through August. You know, and that's true. I mean, now that's a good debate on that, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about it, right? All right, so you're looking at paganism, and most of your Halloween, Christmas, whatever is paganism, but the Catholic Church, you know, adopted them as holidays. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? Did you know that, Tara? Yeah, they adopted
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and
Yep. A lot of
so,
Christian organizations have too,
mhm. And so,
and they just
I
don't
mean,
realize it.
well, you know what? I think, you know, the way the 21st century has come about, I think everybody does um, understand what the hell's going on, except for the diehards. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the 21st century is like, okay, we all know that aliens exist. You know, we all know that there are UFOs, and
Right.
people aren't going off the deep end about it. I could see them going off the deep end back in the 1960s and 70s. And yes, young children, we did have those years, 1960s, 70s. You know, that's when I was young, like you. But
Yeah.
you know what? I really believe that when it comes down to the Christmas tradition, the Halloween traditions, and stuff like that, um, it's gotten real commercialized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, it's great to see the little kids walking around with their parents getting candy and stuff. But, you know, what's crazy is whenever, you know, you got like teenagers going out, okay,
Right.
and and their costumes are a little bit precarious. Is that what I want to say? Peculiar. I mean something that a teenage girl should not wear on Halloween. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. Okay, and boys too. But
Promiscuous.
that's it. Promiscuous.
I got there. It took me a
Okay,
minute.
thank you about that.
Yeah.
I don't. I think there's a time and a place where, you know, dressing up as promiscuous, you know, is, but not out in the street collecting candy with all these little kids hanging around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
It's something
isn't right.
for an over a it's something for somebody over 18 going to a Halloween party like in college. But the
Right,
problem
basically.
is what happens when you're like my daughter, my daughter, she was tall at a very young age, so I had to get her adult costumes half the time. And after a while, we just started making them. Like she was her dad one year and different things like that. She put on his uniform because they were they were booty shorts and things she should not be wearing. There's three B's that you should not show when you're a kid.
Right. And
And
don't
that's the belly and the butt and the
the
chest.
yeah, I like the way you were coming up with a word that was saying, you know, what for boobs, you know, the
Yeah,
boobies, the boobies.
exactly. So
But what's Halloween mean to you, Tara?
so I've always been a huge fan of Halloween. I grew up in the country. No, I did not have sidewalks. No, I did not have street lights. When my ex-husband first came out to my parents' house, he couldn't believe it. Um, I had a lot of farms near me, and our next door neighbor was actually the second grade teacher at our elementary school, and she'd make homemade popcorn balls. And then another one of the farms would have mulled apple cider from the apple trees in their garden. And we would drive around. Each year we'd take turns. Like sometimes my mom would drive, sometimes my friend Trisha's mom would drive, and we'd take turns And, we had to drive everywhere because you couldn't walk anywhere. And to me, it was a big family thing because, the very beginning, we would snack on the popcorn balls at the Anger's house. And then at the end, we would go to the Moore's house and have the mulled apple cider. And it was all one big family. We'd
Right.
have 15, 20 kids. Some were related, some weren't. And we would have like a Halloween party pretty much, at each house. So it was kind of
Right.
nice. And as my kids got older, they went out with their dad and I passed out candy and had fun that way. But, you know, the religion that I am and the things that I believe in, it's really become a hallowed time for me. It's also right near my birthday, so I've always loved it for that reason too, because I'd get a ton of candy right before my birthday. But I spend a lot of time with my ancestors that have gone. I spend a lot of time with my dad since he passed away. I spend a lot of time with the coven that I'm part of now. I used to spend a lot of time with you on purpose because you were family, you and Patty. So, that was huge for me, was to do things with you guys for Halloween as well.
Hmm.
How about you?
What does Halloween mean to me? When I was young, dumb, and stupid, I enjoyed working at the haunted houses. You know, the ones where people go in and and scare people. You pay to go in and you walk through
Hmm.
a house and get scared by the chainsaw massacre dude or something like that. Halloween was a time of a blossoming out. Okay.
Okay.
And what I mean by blossoming is that my mind was set on trying to find a relationship with somebody. Okay. Every Halloween, it just seems like I fell for somebody and
Hmm.
dated them until Christmas, and that would be it. Good evening, Terrence. Good to see you, buddy. But to me, that's what October meant to me. Now, as I got older, I got married, and I had Paul, right?
Right.
And my big thing with Paul was taking him out trick or treating. You
Yeah.
know, it's also my mom's favorite holiday too. So, I mean, she goes all out and stuff like that. I remember growing up, and before we went out, my mom would always order pizza. Okay,
Yeah.
she'd always order pizza in a hoagie down from Atria's, and not the Atria's y'all know that have the big restaurants or something like that. The original Atria started as a bar, a little small dive bar,
Yep.
and so that's what we did. And then we went out and we got the candy. I remember going up to the Alminios on the corner on West Liberty Avenue up there. If you had a mask on, you got a free slice of pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what Halloween meant to me. Not so much carving the pumpkins and passing out candy, and I really really wasn't into that. But as I got older, I started to work at the haunted houses, and then it just took off from there. And I don't regret, but it was really it was a really good time, but sometimes it really wasn't a bad time at all. But here's the craziness thing about it, though. Okay, October 30th, which is Devil's Night, right?
Right.
Um, when I first learned that I was an empath, and
Right.
when I first found out that that I started to move to the spirituality things of metaphysical. Okay, I really had a hard time dealing with October 30th. Okay, and the reason being is I just felt didn't right. It just felt like it. You could see them in the distance, like, okay, so that one over there is going to come and attack me. You know what I mean? There wasn't
Right. Right.
too much protection and stuff like that.
Yeah. The
So,
veil's at its thinnest. So, I mean,
mhm.
yeah.
but all in all, you know, just waited until Halloween was over, and I started working at a grocery store, and then, and you know as well as I do, start November 1st all the way up to New Year's Day. I mean, you go from cutting what? Oh, I forget.
You do
Hams for
the
Christmas,
Yeah, you do the
pork is New
turkeys
Year's,
for Thanksgiving, you do the hams,
and
and
then the pork.
yeah,
And so for 25 years, it was like, I can't enjoy them 3 months.
yep.
Oh, Tommy Miller said, did you notice increased paranormal activity around other holidays besides Halloween? Yes, I have,
Hmm.
um, Tommy. Thank you very much for the question. I
That's a great
appreciate that.
question.
That's a really good question. Yeah, for me, it was Christmas.
Yep,
There
me
was a
too.
lot of paranormal activity around Christmas and around Easter, you know, not so much like the 4th of July or, St. Patrick's Day. That's a given. You know, there's a
Hmm.
lot of good spirits around there. But um, no, just really Christmas
Yeah.
is where I felt the activity.
It almost seemed like any holiday that the families got together and started talking about memories. And it always seemed to be for me the Halloween, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, that kind of thing. And me being young in the paranormal, obviously I saw all kinds of crazy stuff at Halloween. But what do you think, Shawn? Too, talking about all of the memories, and we used to get pictures out at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
What was we never really did that. Brought up pictures or stuff like that. Thanksgiving, it was just the four of us. And then come Christmas, it was my mom's birthday on Christmas Day, so they would have a birthday party for her.
Hmm.
But I remember a couple times, two or three different times, to where the tree would be up and I'd be sitting there watching TV. And there's this angel that sits on our tree. And I love this angel. I mean, we've had it for 30 years. And I swear it watches me wherever I go. You know what I mean? And I just
Hmm.
feel, when I look at her, okay, I'm like, okay, now I know I feel like I'm protected. But I remember a couple times, I don't know who my mom pissed off or who I pissed off, but we were sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden the tree started to shake for no reason at all, violently. We're like, oh, that's craziness. And what else is crazy about Christmas too is that in our house right now we have two children. Okay, two children spirits. All right, they love my mom. All right, and so you could just feel like your hair standing up, and you kind of know that they're there. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but it takes that to make a young spirit, happy during around Christmas time. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it. But I
Yeah.
remember, I would like to share this story with you guys. Okay, when my son was first born, okay, my wife's brother lived down in Columbus, Ohio, and I had about let's see, I had about maybe 2 years of sobriety. Now they went down on Christmas Eve because I had to work on Christmas Day. And what happened was, went to my mom's, and then the Castle Shannon Fire Department. They always had a 24-hour Christmas party,
Hmm.
right? So I went to the party, hung around, talked to the guys I sponsored, and I was looking at the time. It was about quarter to 12, and I had to go. Okay.
Right.
So I get home, all right, and all of a sudden it got really, really quiet. I'm thinking, okay, I better go to bed because I got to get up early for work.
Hmm.
And it just felt like this sense of love that just like surrounded me. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, now I know about spirituality now that I've been sober for a while. But I mean, this was like totally different.
Hmm.
So, my favorite movie was A Christmas Carol.
Mine too. And it's got to be the George C. Scott version.
It don't matter. I like Scrooge with any Scrooge movie, but Scrooge was, was my best. And if you all remember the first scene when he went to bed, Ebenezer Scrooge was, his Jacob Marley was the first ghost to visit him. And
Yep.
on my father's grave, I swear, our telephone sounded like the bells that were on the show. And at 12 midnight, my phone went off, and I'm thinking, "Holy crap! It got to be, that ghost. It has to be that ghost, Jacob Martin."
Yep.
So I answered the phone, and I'm waiting to hear a ghost on the other side. I'm being honest with you, everybody. I was waiting to hear a ghost.
Right.
So true. And here it was the guy I sponsored calling me to see if I made it home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
that was crazy. That was crazy. That made my Christmas.
Yeah.
But it happened at midnight, you know. But at the time, I at the time this was happening, I would have to say around 1993, 94. Okay, I had about 2 or 3 years, and I never really cared about ghosts. You know what I mean? I didn't even think about spiritual and stuff like that. Never did, But I look back at the times when shit happened to me. Okay, I look back at the times, and I'm thinking, holy crap, that could have been a ghost
Yeah.
that did that to me. That could have been um, something else. Who knows? Um, okay, so how about you, Tara? Care to share any story of some sort? Do you have a good ghost story you'd like to tell us?
Sure. I have a family member who's a devout Christian, so we won't say names, but she was telling me when she lived in the South, it wasn't too far from Christmas, that she was home alone and her husband was working and her daughter was with her. And there was a horrible blizzard and trees were down and power lines were out, and it was just bitter cold, and she didn't know what she was going to do to feed her daughter. There was no heat. And along came a knock at her door, and it was this elderly woman, and she offered for her to come to her house across the road. And she had power and she was going to cook and she had food for them, and she made them dinner and bread and all kinds of things. And she kept them warm overnight. And my aunt went home the next day and she was telling her husband all about it. And when they went to look at the house the next day, it was all boarded up and there was nobody there.
Is that a true story?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Where was this at?
I can't say because
Oh, okay.
my family would know. It's in the South.
Okay. Okay. All right. But no, that's a pretty cool story. Yeah, I my ghost stories are basically the ones that I didn't really have any when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Never did. It just seemed like, well, at the time, and I do have ADHD. I really do have that. And so my mind was scattered brained everywhere. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay. So I really didn't pay attention to the stuff that was happening to me. But one of the good stories that I had um, it was a Christmas Eve, and I went up to see my dad at night, like in the evening, and I pulled out a lounge chair, something small to sit on,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started singing Christmas carols to him, talking to him. And At the time, it was just like my hairs were standing on end, you know. And then I looked up, as God is my witness, Tara, there was at least 50 spirits right there in front of me. Looking.
Wow.
Yeah. I wished every one of them a Merry Christmas. I did. You know what I mean? But to me, that's one of the best ghost stories that I could tell you. Um, any ghost stories that was nasty? I have a couple that are nasty, but just I want to do some good stuff because there's so much nastiness going on out in the world right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, so Tommy, I hope that answered your question. So basically, yes, Christmas. Christmas
Yeah.
was the biggest one for me. You know.
Yeah. I mean, some years, well, because I had siblings that were in the military, and some would come home for Thanksgiving and some would come home for Christmas. So mom would make a big dinner for each of the holidays, and those people would come, and we'd go through slides. Sorry, I was trying to hiccup there. We'd go through slides of like the winter of '78 and how the snow was plowed up as high as our roof because we had a big, we have a ranch style house. My mom still lives there, and in the middle of like 2 acres, and like the snowplow had to dig us out of our driveway to get to our house, and so many people, and the roads were closed.
Hmm. So back to the Halloween bit.
Hmm.
What do covens do around Halloween? What is the actual meaning behind Halloween for witches?
It is actually our new year.
Okay, go ahead.
So we release everything that didn't serve us in the previous year, and we get close to our ancestors to help release it all. And then we start making resolutions for the next year.
And what else? I mean,
Um,
there's got to be more. I mean, what kind of activities do you guys do?
sure. If weather permits, we'll have a bonfire. If not, then we have a bowl that we throw things in. But we usually will write down a bunch of things in the in a prayer circle, and the things that we were grateful for, the things that didn't serve us, maybe relationships, maybe a job, um, prayers for people that need them, that kind of thing, and we burn them and we send them into
Okay.
the universe.
Now, what's the whole black cat theory with witches? The black cat. What's up with that?
So black cats were thought to be unlucky, and it goes back to the, you're gonna love this, the Irish
Of
thinking that
course.
black cats were unlucky, and when you saw a black cat, it was a witch that had transformed, so that you didn't know it was a witch.
Okay. And
And it snowballed into black cats being our familiars and part of bringing, paganism into mainstream. Black cats are unlucky. They're witches, or if they're not a witch, then it's their familiar and they're going to hex you.
what are familiars?
Familiars can be any kind of animal that resonates with you. So, like with me, hawks have been around me my whole life. So that's my spirit animal. But a familiar would be like my cat Smudge. Sorry, I knew it was coming. I sneezed. For those of you can't see me. Anyways, I apologize. So Smudge, my cat, the moment I saw him and I didn't name him, he was given that name. I had to have him. I just knew that we've been together throughout many lives. And, I had to bring his sister with us because there were 3 cats born in that litter. One
Hmm.
passed. A woman found them, and couldn't take care of them. So she actually called one of my very best friends, and she does an animal. She's a volunteer at an animal rescue. And long story short, I just knew I had to have this cat, and he knows when I'm sick. He knows when I need him. He'll come to me at different times when I really, really need him. Other times he's with his dad. Sorry.
Bless you, cough, whatever.
It was.
You know what? It's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're human.
No problem. So, but Mia tends to follow me around, and Smudge tends to follow his dad around. So when I really need him, or when I'm doing a ritual or praying or doing breath work or any of that stuff, he's right next to me.
Okay, now I'm going to come back and play the devil's advocate here. Okay, the devil's advocate. All right. A lot of people claim that animals sense. Speaking of which,
yep, that's me.
Animals can sense that there is something wrong with their owners, and they actually go up and they know when something's wrong, and they go up and they try to heal them. So if I'm just learning about familiars, I'm going to tell you straight out, hon, that I don't think that was a familiar. I think it was just an animal that knew that you weren't feeling good.
Right. So basically how I knew he was a familiar was when I went to go pick him up for the very first time. We were bringing him home. He came right up to me like he's known me for forever, like nobody's business. And he was one of those cats that was very timid and liked to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And his sister was the one that was outgoing.
Okay.
And he curled up on my lap instead of being terrified. Okay. And when I brought him home, he never left my side. He was very, very mom oriented. I think he's kind of by nature, because he is a male, realizes that I'm his mom and he's not supposed to be around me as much, because it's a natural tendency, in nature for boys to get away from their moms, because in real nature, they don't get fixed. So it's kind of like an inbred kind of thing for most animals. And that's why Mia's closer to me now, but he knows when I need him, period. He's there when I'm cooking. He's there when...
Well, yeah, because he smells the food and he knows you're going to give him some chicken.
Have you had my cooking? No kidding. It used to be terrible when I had nobody to cook for, but anyway.
So, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe in familiars. I don't doubt. But for some reason, it's hard for me to wrap my head around an animal being a familiar to some. Now, I might have pissed off some witches up there in Butler. I hope I didn't. But I just have a hard time with it. Okay, so we're saying that animals are familiars. Is there anything else out there besides an animal that could be a familiar?
Some people claim that other human beings can be. Some people claim that aliens have been their familiars but I myself don't know. I've never experienced either one of those, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just know about the animal aspect of it.
Okay. So what other nice activities do you guys do around the Halloween era?
A lot of us support other businesses, and we go to Witches Night Out here in Butler, where we have a big community of holistic and new age type of activities here in Butler, different stores that offer different crafts and things, if that makes sense. So we have like an antique store, and we have a clothing store, and we have a store that has an herbalist and a tarot reader, and also a rock lady, as she likes to be called. We have plant ladies. We have, Reiki ladies. We have a place called the Enchanted Fairy where you can dress up in costumes and have pictures taken if you want to look like a fairy or different kind of cool things. So we all support each other and we dress like witches and we go to each other's businesses on those days. And also people
Mhm.
come from out of town too.
Now, let me ask you this. During the Witches' Night out there in Butler, do they perform ceremonies out in the in the community, or do they perform ceremonies like in the dark alleys?
Neither. There is there's several different groups here in Butler, and like we do our rituals in a sacred space in our coven. There's another group that does sacred body work in one of their businesses, but we don't do it for the public. We do offer tarot readings at Mystique Moon on Witches Night.
Hmm. Okay. So I have a couple more questions. You're getting grilled tonight.
Oh, go ahead.
But I would like to get a tarot reader on. I'd like to get the Rock Lady or any gem lady on, a Reiki master or whatever, instead of and see where their visions come from, where their ideas. But speaking of the tarot, do you believe in the tarot? Do you like the tarot, or is there another card deck that you like?
So there are several different tarot decks. I mean, there are hundreds, maybe even
Well,
thousands.
all it is the artwork. Every
Hmm.
every every card deck has the same um, definition of the card.
Right, major and
All it
minor
is,
arcana.
yeah.
Yes,
So it's like the same art. It's just different
yes,
artwork.
right. And I mean, each person has something that resonates with them, and what one deck may not be good for another person, but whatever. I questioned it. I went to our local tarot reader here in Butler, and I was curious. I wanted to know. I wanted to learn about it because, with me doing what I do in my business, there may be somebody who is interested in tarot and I needed somebody that I could recommend for them. And what she told me was stuff that I never thought was going to come to fruition, and it did.
My question to you on that: did she ask you a question?
No, I went in, she had no idea who I was. I was dressed in a black t shirt, regular jeans, absolutely no jewelry. And for me, that's hard. I even walked in without glasses,
Uh huh.
and I found the plainest purse I had.
But see, I believe in the tarot. Okay, I
Hmm.
believe that people can actually read tarot, or they can see what's going on. He lucked out by getting a good one. But what do you think of the tarot readers out there that are charging an arm and a freaking leg for people to get a reading? I mean, I
First,
know, I know it's an income for them, but to
first and
me, they're called
foremost,
charlatans.
yeah. First and foremost, you and I basically believe in a lot of the similar things, and a lot of real tarot readers have a barter system where maybe you can't afford a 2 hour session and you can't afford $100 for it. So they'll offer you a 3 card spread maybe for $5.
Right. Why,
Or,
why, why would you want to get? I would never sit for 2 hours to get a damn
oh,
reading like that.
well, some people are crazy and they want to know their whole life story and they want to know what they were in a past life and they ask all kinds of crazy stuff. But
And then, okay, go ahead, because
yeah.
I have a story for you. At one point in time, I think it was in the late '90s. I was working with a psychic troupe. Okay, what you call it.
Hmm.
There was 8 of us up there. We had 3 from Lilydale, and 5 of them from here in Pittsburgh. And so we'd start up in Erie and work our way down every weekend. Okay.
Okay.
When I did the readings, I used the animal medicine cards, right?
Hmm.
But at that time, I didn't. It was crazy. I could just look and give you a reading,
Yeah.
right? And so we're down in the Washington store, down in Washington doing our thing. Out of the corner of my eye, I see this lady standing there, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
sitting down in the chair, and I still had a customer, and see the lady in front of this girl. This is a true story, very, very true story. She let the lady, go ahead. Like I know she was waiting for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when my client was done, she came right over. Tara, as God is my witness, honest to Pete, I'm, this is a true story. I will not bullshit anybody about it. I looked at her and I said, "You better open your purse up, put on your wedding ring because you have a problem of losing things. So when you go home to your husband and you don't have that wedding ring on, you're going to get into a lot of trouble." She didn't even sit down. Just put the money on the table and took off. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So where'd that come from? But I'm not judging. I don't really want to get into my personal business here. You know, doing these talk shows. One of these days, I might go on another show and I can talk about it. But
Right.
this is my show and people know who I am. Ladies and gentlemen, honestly, there is more to me that you can, and Tara can even tell you. I mean, it's craziness.
Yep.
But
Yep. Exactly.
thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate it. Um, but what was crazy though, going to the working the psychic fairs, a lot of the places that we did, there was a lot of preachers
Mm-hmm.
after church would go and get a reading done.
Yep.
That kind of blew my mind because one time I forget where we were at. New Bethlehem is where we were at, and so I was sitting there, and these ladies are getting their reading done, right? And this guy walks in, and all of a sudden they said, "Oh crap, that's the pastor. What's he doing here?" And he brought the lady in. And I'm thinking, come on, you're a pastor of a church. You know what I mean? This is considered sin for you.
Yeah.
Why are you here getting a reading? You know what I mean? It was just kind of mind boggling about it when I saw that.
Yep.
But the story I want to get to, though, is so there was 8 readers in our troop, right? And a lady would go around to all 8 readers, okay?
Okay.
At the it was $20 a pop right at the time, okay? So this lady spent $160, and she would go to each reader and um, ask them a question. And if she didn't like the answer she got, right,
Right.
she'd go to the next psychic and to the next psychic and to the next psychic and to the next psychic. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? God bless you. You don't need it. You just have to accept it. And I remember the last one I worked, a really dear friend of mine, and it really broke my heart. Um, she comes up to me and she says, you really need to go spend some money if you want to be a reader. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, I spent $4,000 on something. I spent 3,000 on this. And I said to her, I won't tell her the name. I said, why do I need to learn about something when Spirit gives it to me for free?
Yeah.
And that was it. She turned around, walked away, and never heard from her since. So I'm thinking, yeah, and that just bothered me right there and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will never forget that lady because she taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to work with my spirit guides because that was the real biggie thing for me. Okay, was learning how to meditate and really trusting my spirit guides in order to go out and do readings. But I will tell you this, everybody, when I first started reading and I was good and I still am good. Okay. But I had an ego problem that was a mile long. Seriously, really bad ego problem because I thought I was the big shit. I thought I was the best. I'm on AOL and I'm fighting demons for people and stuff like this. But I'm going to tell you a true story. Okay. I think I told you, Tara. I'm not sure. Now, y'all going to think I'm nuts, but you know what? So what? If you want to think that I'm nuts when I tell you this story, then that's all cool. But you know what? This really, really happened. So what happened was one time I was like talking online on AOL, believe it or not, saying I cleared that dude, I cleared this, I fought that demon, blah 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 blah. I mean, really sticking my chest out and acting like an asshole, right?
Yep.
And
your humility right out the window there, buddy.
Oh Lord, that's when I didn't have no people teach me.
Yeah.
And then out of the clear blue sky, I said, I am so good, I can take on Satan.
And what happened?
God allowed it. God allowed me to, try to take on Satan. It's a true story, everybody. And for 3 days, he beat the living crap out of me. He really did. He really did beat the crap out of me. I mean, as in emotional wise, as in depression, as in anxiety, he didn't physically hurt me.
Yeah.
But he really did a number on my mind.
Now, were you able to work during that period of time, or were you locked up?
I wasn't working. I was in between jobs.
Okay.
Because I thought I was the God Almighty that, maybe I'll just go in and start, killing demons for a business, Mm-hmm. I was lazy. I was a bad person. The crazy thing is, Tara, that I was sober when I did this shit. You know what I mean? But he allowed it. Okay. And so on the third day, as he was leaving, okay, what happened was, as he was leaving, he says, if you ever want to try this again, give me a call. And I was like, no, that's okay. But here was the interesting thing about the whole 3 days, right?
Yeah.
He turned around again, he looked at me, and he said, I give you a ton of credit. I give you a lot of credit. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're the devil. You kicked my ass. How can you give me the credit?
Right.
And he said, you never backed down. You kept fighting. You kept fighting. Even though you were getting your butt kicked, you kept fighting. And then he walked away. Now, everyone has these things of Satan, like these pictures of a dude with horns, all red and really ugliness, You know what? He wasn't. He was just a man. You know what I mean?
Right.
But do you know, Tara, I found out through a very good friend of mine, Penny. She studied Greek mythology.
Uh-huh.
Do you know how the horns became on the face of the devil?
No.
Okay.
That's one thing I don't know yet.
Okay, I'll tell you right now. In Greek mythology, you've heard of Pan, right? P-A-N,
yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The dude half animal, half human. And he had the horns on his head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Christianity came in order to scare the pagans, right?
Yeah.
They drew a picture of Pan's face, and they drew horns like that on the painting.
That makes total sense.
And they said, this is what Satan looks like. And all they did was just take Pan's face and put horns on it.
Wow.
That's how it became, And what was really cool is all these experiences that I was going through. a lot of it came back to mythology stuff, Zeus,
Hmm.
Lilith. I'll be the first one to tell you, boy, I am really, really I'm really telling everybody about who I am. But my favorite goddess is Morgan Le Fay, Morgana.
Yeah.
She would come with me whenever I'd fight. She would come along. Everybody thinks she's a bad person because she's what, the goddess of the underworld. But she's also the one that saved King Arthur.
Yep.
She healed him. So but just because the underworld where it was dark, right? Um, no, Morgana's good. And with all the crows around me,
Yeah.
there's a ton of crows around me. That's her bird. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
know she ain't trying. But what was crazy though, and it's like the yin and yang, to be honest with you, whenever it was all done and I got done fighting and I came home, the goddess Bridget would come in to heal me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorites.
And it's like, and imagine a boy, a man at 32, 33 years old learning all this crap. Blew me away.
Yeah.
It blew me away. There's just so much crap there to divulge. But the way I was worked with, when I first started off, I was introduced to Gene, and Gene taught me how to meditate and work with my spirit guys. Then after a year of that, okay, what happened was I met somebody who studied the Native American spirituality. And that felt me a lot better. That was a lot better for me. Then the next year after that, it was about goddesses. And the next year about angels. And the next year was demons. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it was like I was meant to be put on this path to learn all this crap.
Yep.
But I did not understand at the time the reason why I was learning all this.
Yeah.
It all came to par. It all came full circle when I formed Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. That's when it formed. And on that note, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. We're going to go to a 30-second countdown, and then we'll be right back. All right. So everybody, hold on. Let me get to the brand. It's like a little break. Real quick. There we go. Be ready. We'll be back in 30. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Shawn Kelly and Tara into the night, Tuesday nights, 8 to 10 on UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And I also want to thank Carnation for sponsoring the second hour of the show Into the Night. But if I have a few minutes here, I'd like to tell you about the other different types of shows on. You got Michelle and her and I know the other girl's name, but my mind just I don't never write this shit down, right? So I should be writing it down, but I should. But Michelle's show is The Outer Realm. Her show, I do believe, is on Wednesday nights. And then you got Joe Montaldo, who's the producer and the owner of the place. His show is The Centralist. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do next week, guys? I'm going to write down all these shows and I'm going to tell you what they are. Okay. Because I just feel like it's like
the heat is brutal.
The heat. Yeah, I'm blaming the heat. You know, my brains are like getting scrambled, because of the heat, like throwing I bet you 2 to 1 you threw an egg on my freaking head, it'd freaking boil. You know what I mean? I'd be making a
Yeah.
fried egg on my head. That's how hot it is out here. Um, but I do want to mention that there is the missing piece with Trish Mo coming up after my show tonight, our show tonight. Um, and if you're not doing nothing, if you want to stay in your AC and not watch TV, tune in to UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and listen to Trish. She's awesome. She's a good girl. You know, she was a co-host with me on our show Chasing Prophecy. You know, but so tune in. Hopefully, we'll see you here next Tuesday. So, Tara, you were sick last week. How do you feel now? How do you feel today?
I'm doing okay. They started me on a muscle relaxer to see if it would help my pain, and it just kind of made me real funky and groggy. So I apologize for last week, guys. But um, my neurologist had told me from the get-go that there probably isn't going to be anything that's going to help me aside from physical activity and that kind of thing. So, I'm trying different medications just in case without it being heavy duty medications. And I've done chiropractic stuff. It doesn't work for me. It makes it worse. A massage therapist really helps me. Physical. I have a personal trainer that I like to go to that really helps. And I definitely want to try acupuncture. My pain management specialist really thinks that's a good idea too. But I'm purposely trying things in between different things so that it's not simultaneous, so I know what works.
Mm-hmm.
And the past few weeks it's really, really been horrendous. My leg pain has been very, very bad. And I
Okay.
actually have not worked since mid-July.
I'd be going nuts. I'd be going crazy. I'd have to
I
find something to do. If I'd have to open up a little store and do tarot readings, you know, in stores or
Mhm,
whatever. But what I like to do on my cards is I use the medicine cards.
mhm,
All right. And the medicine cards are really cool because they have pictures of animals on them.
right.
And each animal, you know, has a purpose. The reason why um, that animal you pull. All right.
It's a sacred totem.
Well, because not all the animal totems are with you all the time. You got two major totems: the alpha and the alpha and the female lady, female animal, of course. I'm really big into the animals because to me, it's a lot more relaxing. I feel more at peace, than
Hmm.
actually like I do when I work with angels. You know what I mean? And but I really, really like working with the animals. Okay. So I'm shuffling the deck here for you, Tara. Okay.
Okay.
I'm shuffling the deck for you here. And I'm going to cut the cards right now. Okay.
Okay.
As you can tell, everybody, I'm cutting the cards. So here's the deck. There's a little
Oh, that's kind of
symbol on
pretty.
it. Yeah. Wait till you see the artwork on these suckers. They're great. So I'm cutting the deck. Now, this card I'm pulling is not just for Tara, everybody. It's for you. Okay. So what I highly recommend that you do, and I haven't done this in a long time. I have not done this in a long time. What I'm going to do for you, whenever I pull this card up, it's going to be for everybody out there listening to the show in Australia, New Zealand, Israel, Russia, China, everywhere. This is how far this show goes, right? And what I want you to do is I want you to Google this card, okay? And tells you the reason why this card was dealt to you guys or picked for you. So here it goes. Uh, the bear. Okay, everybody? I picked the bear. Whoop, there we go. And with the bear, it's introspection. Introspection. I don't have my teeth in, so I really can't tell. But you know how the bear hibernates,
Yep.
right, during the wintertime? Okay. What the bear card means is deep meditation, to look within yourselves, find the answers within so you can be able to deal with the outside of the outside world, So you got all winter to really get deep down inside and figure out things, you know what I mean? And that's what the bear is for. But you know what, everybody? That is the definition that's in the medicine cards, okay? Now, for me, I look at that bear and I look at anger. I look at, you know, who am I mad at? You know what I mean? Why do I want to get angry? Why, you know, it's if you looked at the picture of the bear, it's just don't show no teeth. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, right, it shows of assertiveness again. It shows of look at me, I'm here. Try to step over into my bounds, my boundaries. Or I'm just going to kick your butt. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And so, to me, that's what I would have picked up off the bear. You know what I mean? See, to me, when you go to a tarot reader, when I do readings at psychic fairs, right? Okay. Here's what I do. I it's not that I'm going to look down the future and say, you're going to marry, G.I. Jane, you know what I mean, or else you're not going to hit the lottery. I cannot tell you. What's really crazy when I do a spread, when I read, it's a 3 card spread, right? When I do that spread, it tells about the things that are happening in their life today.
Right.
Okay. It's not like I'm going to throw out a 9 card, pass forward. This is my thing is simple: 3 card, past, now, future. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, and to me, when I do read it, and and when I read, I just start, and I start, and I start, and I continue, and continue, and continue, and continue, and I pick up on things, and it's like, sometimes I blow the people away. Sometimes I'm way off base, but the majority of the time I'm not. Now, everybody, I need to tell you this. I'm not being egotistical at all when I say I'm good at what I do. I'm not being egotistical. Please believe that. I'm just telling you, what's up with me. And, maybe one day I'll do a couple readings here on mine, you know. And what I used to do on the show, we might have a little bit of time. I used to put into meditations. I used to do live meditations on the show and into the night, you know. And it's been a while since I've done that. And from what I understand, people really enjoyed those. You know what I mean? But to me, the medicine cards, I feel a lot comfortable with than the Aster Crowley. I think people just buy those cards because of his name. You know?
Yeah, it's a famous deck, the Crowley
Who
deck.
you smelling at? The cat.
Just people in general. No, because it made me think of Crowley. Yeah, I can tell you some stories about Crowley. I just won't.
Well, I don't want to know no stories about Crowley.
Uh,
I mean, there's people, but it just seems like whatever you feel secure in, whatever you feel safe in, you know. Who you talking to? You're looking at somebody. Who you
I
looking
was
at?
looking at the cat.
That's what I figured. You know what I mean?
Yep. Just making sure that they don't jump on my computer.
Oh, okay, I understand. All right, give them some cat treats. Huh. But no, whatever you feel comfortable with, you use.
Yeah.
Like I feel comfortable with the medicine cards, or
I
maybe
actually picked up a new deck not a couple months ago from Natasha's. It's a sacred geometry healing deck. And I'm
okay.
interested. I haven't opened it yet, so I need to get into it and see what's going on with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this question about whenever you go out and you pick out your decks. Um,
Mhm.
do you go by what you feel, or do you go by the artwork of the cards?
So I pick books the same way because I'm an avid reader. I first go to through the artwork and then I'll put it in my hands. And if my hands get warm or vibrate or I have a good feeling about something, then I'll buy it.
Right.
Same thing with
Okay.
my rocks.
We're getting to there
Yep.
about the rocks. What's your favorite rock?
Amethyst.
Why?
First and foremost, purple's one of my favorite colors. Secondly, it's one of those rocks that always feels fairly good in my hands.
Explain to the people what amethyst is all about into stone.
Sure, it's calming, it's relaxing, it helps take stress away. In some books, it can be also healing.
Okay. Do you use any other rocks?
Oh, I use a ton.
Or should I say crystals? What is it?
It all depends. Some are rocks, some are crystals. So, one of my favorite stones ever I got at, trying to think of what it was called. It was the shop in Dormont on the corner.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Moonstones.
moonstones.
Yeah. The first necklace I ever got, there was a moonstone. Absolutely love it. Has the infinity symbol all the way around it. But my favorite stone from there ever was a healing stone. And the owner took me back, and this is where she would make jewelry. And she said, there's stones here for sale that, have holes in them. But the reason they have holes in them is because I make them into jewelry. But this section is calling for you. And
Mm-hmm.
it was the healing stone. And I use it a lot in my rituals. I use it a lot in my breath work with people, um, that kind of thing. I also like rose quartz, which is a love stone, which is a calming stone. It's pink.
Now
Um,
you say that the rose quartz is a loving stone. Now, if
mhm.
you're looking for a mate or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, does this stone, suppose, since it's considered the love stone,
It's
does it help?
more. Some people like it for that. How I got it was from an AA person,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about friendship and kindness and self love and humility.
Right.
So it brought me into that type of area.
Okay.
I like selenite because it takes away, cucky stuff in your house and protection and that kind of thing. There's also obsidian, which I really, really like, that absorbs a lot of negativity. A lot of people think that carnelian's good. It's a red stone for love,
Okay. Have you
but
used it?
yeah. Pardon me.
Have you used it?
No.
Yeah. I like rocks. Um,
Oh yeah, because I mean, dude, yeah, we went out prospecting and we both were geeking out over rocks. So
oh yeah, I love rocks. I mean, it was. But my favorite's gold, silver
yeah,
and gold. Silver I love. Um,
there's a song in there, buddy. Silver and gold.
Look at the face.
I know, right?
Look at the face. Pearl eyes is the
That's right.
snowman
That's
on
it.
Rudolph. Yeah. But no, I enjoy learning. I'm
Hmm.
not very good at reading about them in the books, so I have to go to a place so they can like explain it to me, what this stone is about, what happens to it. But everybody, ladies and gentlemen, honest to God, we're going to try to find us a stone lady to come on our show, and she can talk about the crystals and the stones and how they work. Um, with how she works with them, where does she get them. Um, I really would like to get a ruby, um, and I really would like to get a piece of jade,
Hmm.
you know, because I feel more in tuned with the universe with a ruby and jade. It's really crazy, you know what I
Well,
mean?
you need to come to Butler because I have a special place that I can take you in Butler. We have a museum
Oh,
that you don't
really?
even know about.
Oh, wow, cool. But so I just lost what I was going to say. Do you have something that you want to talk about?
Well, there's a museum in Butler that I never knew existed, and I guess it's because it came into fruition after I moved to Pittsburgh. And a woman who loved Butler bequeathed her jade collection, and it's known as the Meridon Museum.
Oh, wow. I love jade. Jade's great.
You're gonna have to Google it because you will crap a brick when you see.
I mean, I don't. Now you know
I,
you got these amethysts. I like citrine. You know
that's
what I
my
mean?
birthstone.
I did a little gem. See everybody what I like. I'm I like to do all kinds of things, and I was making stones, right, that you put in. Um, so I got an amethyst, and I made a necklace. I made two earrings and a big neck.
Brooch. It's beautiful.
And the citrine, that was my first stone. But what happened was the C word came in, and the guy quit teaching us. So I really haven't gone back to doing it, and I really enjoyed doing stonework. I
Mhm.
enjoyed making different things and stuff like that. It's amazing what you can learn from a stone. Okay, and like Tara was talking about earlier. Okay, from a stone, you can get the energy from the stone. You know what I mean? You walk a creek and just look down a real small creek. You can pick up some Indian arrowheads, right?
Yep.
I got some pretty ones here at the house, but you know, when people tell you, you know, go to you're walking and you go and you find a stone that you really, really want, or you don't know why you kept focusing on that stone,
Yep.
go to that stone and pick it up and take it home with you. And eventually, one day, you'll have a dream or you'll learn about what the stone is all about.
Yep.
And you will understand the reason why. You can't question Mother Nature. You can't question what Spirit sends you out to. That actually draws you to. You can't question it. You just got to accept it. When I did my meditations at South Park, I would meditate, and all of a sudden I would see a family of raccoons sitting in front of me. No lie, really, just sitting right in front of me. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I would meditate, and I'd go out again and meditate, and I would see deer sitting in front of me, just standing there looking at me like I was meditating. And it was such an awesome feeling to know and to realize that I actually did something through meditation, and then the animals were attracted to me.
Yep.
Felt like Dr. Doolittle, to be honest with you. And another thing I'd like to share with you real quick, everybody, is that, like I said, I went to a special place at South Park, um, and I sat underneath a tree. Now the weather was 82, 83 degrees. Okay, no rain in the forest or nothing. Um, in the park. No rain. It was a beautiful day, one of the most prettiest days ever. Okay. And so instead of sitting on the picnic table, I figured I'd sit underneath a tree. And as I am there in a meditation, all of a sudden I felt droplets of water falling on my arm. Okay. I'm thinking, I came out of it and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what? It's not raining. There's no dew on the leaves. Nothing like that. And I look up at the tree, and a raindrop or a drop hit me right here on my chin. And all of a sudden, I just got this very sadness feeling over me. I really did, everybody. I did. I have no doubt in my mind that that tree was crying, that it was sad. I have no doubt in my mind. You can call Western Psych right now. You can try to put me in for 72 hours. You know, I'd take all kinds of drugs if you think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. The tree cried. It was sad. You know, it was sad. I never believed it until I actually believed it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Tommy's still in the room or not, but I told this story a long time ago, and I'm going to share it with you one time because I don't think I shared it with you, but I want to share it to people, you know, the new listeners that come and listen to the show. Well, me and my wife were separated, and we moved over. I moved to an apartment over in Pleasant Hills. So this apartment complex was really, really big. And what they did was that they actually put gardens, you know, in different places of the complex, right?
Hmm.
So one like not summer, it was about April. It was a nice night out, and me and my boy Paul, he went over. We went because they had benches there, and we sat on the benches, and all of a sudden he saw these little pixie lights, and I saw them too, and everybody
Hmm.
dancing all around like pixie, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Okay, it intrigued him. He was really like pumped up for it, but it intrigued him, and so I saw these pixie lights. So the next morning we got up and we go over to the bench, and right there in front of the garden was a fairy ring made
Oh,
out of
wow.
maggots. Oh yeah, yeah. You got chills, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a fairy ring. And so it's not like for me that everything's just thrown at me and you got to believe this, this, and this, and this, and this. And you're going to see fairies, you're going to see elves, you're going to see angels, you're going to see demons, you're going to see ghosts, you're going to see spirits, whatever. It doesn't happen all at one time, everybody. It really doesn't. It gradually, gradually, it happens. It's not. Um, Take some time, but it took me a while to really understand that the little lights that I did see and my son saw was actually fairies, fays, and I mean, I'll take that to my grave. I don't care. You know, if you think I'm a nutcase because I believe in fairies, and that's what you think. I can't stop you from not thinking what you think about me. But you know what? There's a lot of people out there that do. How about you, Tara? Ah, don't smile. Talk. I'm
Um,
joking. I'm joking.
no, cool. I'm cool. Yeah, I was kind of thrown into this myself, different things that have happened to me throughout my life. And, um, you know, I've been very, very fortunate in the mentors that I've had. I have a mentor that's in North Carolina, and she taught me shamanic medicine. And, she has stories about talking to the trees and Native Americans and different deities, and I've learned a lot from her group. I've been very blessed with that, and with you, because teaching me the paranormal and helping me through a lot of stuff through the years of 20 plus. We won't say it's leaning towards 30 now, but It's crazy to think that we've been friends that long. But I'm getting kind of excited right now because in 2 weeks I'm heading to a top secret location with the paranormal group. And it's something that I've never experienced before, so I can't wait to go and hopefully relay some good stuff for you guys. But, I'm learning more with these mentors too, and, you know, diving into my shadow and, things that have happened to me throughout my childhood that I suppressed. And, shadow work isn't what you think it is. It's your own entity. It's you diving deep into things that you've suppressed throughout the ages that, have bubbled and bubbled and bubbled and festered, and you hid away for so long that, they've kind of been a bad influence in your life. And, Young was one of the foremost
All right,
psychotherapists.
let me stop you there for a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please explain it a little bit more easier for people that don't know what you were
Sure.
talking about?
Sure.
Make it simple,
Yeah,
please.
some people didn't feel loved as a kid. Some people were put in foster systems when they were kids. Some people were molested when they were a kid. It's all things that we don't like to talk about. It's things that we tried to hide from ourselves and other people that just went, you just repressed it and you hid it and you didn't talk about it. And, sometimes it becomes a paranoia. Sometimes it becomes an anxiety. Sometimes it, leads to further traumas in your life. So for those of you that are willing to and have the help dealing with them as they come through and you remember these situations, it helps you in the long run.
How do you work? How do you deal with the stuff that comes up from the past that you have?
So for me specifically, I go memory by memory, and my adult self talks to the little child in me. So say an event happened when I was 3 and I remembered it. 48-year-old Tara talks to 3-year-old Tara and says, "Hey, this is what you've accomplished in your life. Don't be sad. You don't feel, say, I didn't feel loved for a particular reason. You were loved. This person loved you. This person loved you. You're a mom of 3 kids. You have fantastic friends and, family that you've chosen that aren't blood." And, you know, and I tell little Tara, how her life got better from that point.
Hmm. Okay.
And then maybe if it's teenage Tara, same thing.
And it has helped you out a lot?
Oh, heck yeah. Because a lot of times when you were a child and you remember that event, it was because somebody wasn't there for you.
That's interesting. Might have to look into that a little bit, but I'm not ready to. I guess I'm very comfortable at what I know,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I know I'm being pushed to learn new stuff, all right? And when the time comes, it will happen. I'm not sure when. But I just want a little sidebar here. Is that gray hair there? Is that
Right,
gray?
right, right here.
Yeah.
This is my Shawn patch. It's all Shawn's fault.
Okay. You
No,
know,
actually, this section is Anna. This section's Ashley. This section's my ex-husband.
because you know what? You look like Corilla DeVille.
Yes.
You do look like Corilla DeVille. That was the old nasty lady on 101 Dalmatians.
Yep. Those
You do.
my
I mean,
puppies, buddy. You make me a Dalmatian jacket like she wanted.
seriously, that's just. I had to bring that up.
Yep.
So,
I prefer the Della Reese if that dates me from Touched by an Angel.
oh God, please. But well, if that's how you feel, touched by an angel, Michael Landon and all them. But
Yep.
I want to get back to your shaman. What's the name of your business? That's what I wanted to ask.
Sure. It is Hawk's Nest Center for Shamanic Healing.
And so, what do you do in your business?
I teach people how to breathe and process through the breath and heal their chakras, which are the 7 medians in your body that resonate vibrations and connect you between the earth and the universe. And we process what you see through Shatiki artwork, and we talk about it, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's groups. And I let people incorporate things that they believe in. Maybe they're Christian and they want to bring a cross, or maybe plants resonate for them, or herbs, like teas, like that kind of herb, rocks, and maybe they want to learn more about that stuff. So then I recommend people that are in my neighborhood that, I'm comfortable with, like our herbologist that mixes her own teas and tinctures, and the rock lady and the tarot lady, and, people that are on the same path as me and, would benefit from Natasha or Cassie.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And to me, that's something interesting for me to learn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm not being in denial about doing it. Okay. But right now, I just have too much stuff going on in my life right now to where I'm not for it, if you know what I mean. But eventually, one day, I'll just come up to you and say, "Hey, listen, I'm ready." You know. So we'll see from there. But what I want to do now, I'm getting kind of running out of things to talk about. We got a couple more minutes. I want to thank everybody for coming in and listening to the show. Everybody out there in the world listening to the show. Um, it was good to see you, Tawny, Michael, Squatch, Sebastian. It was nice seeing you guys in here tonight. So what I'm going to do real quick, okay, is I'm going to draw a 3-card spread. All right. And you guys might want to write this down, these animals down. And here's your homework for next week. All right. These animals that I pulled for you, okay, don't forget to Google and look them up. Just like the bear, it said, introspection. Just all you do is Google bear totem and its meaning. And I'm going to draw 3. And so what I want you to do is look these 3 cards up and tell me what y'all think. If this message was right for you. You too, Tara. I want you to grasp this, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so I just shuffled and I'm cutting once, twice, and 3 times. I knew you were going to say that. Okay, now remember, everybody, these are the 3 cards. The first card I'm drawing is your past. Okay? It is your past. The bear. Check that stuff out, man. Write it down. Well, you remember these.
Well, I gotta get. Hold on. Let me get my pen and paper. I'll be right back.
Everybody, is that crazy or what? I shuffled these cards pretty good, and we drew the bear for the past. Ain't that crazy? Maybe everybody was supposed to see the bear tonight. So I'll write that down. All right, that's the past card. Now, the now card is what's going on right now. And that card is the raccoon, the bandit. So,
I'm behaving.
And this is what's going on in the now, right now. You're welcome, Sebastian. Thank you, Shawn and Tara, for your time and a really good show. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Sebastian, for
Thanks,
coming
dude.
on. Yeah, I appreciate you a lot. In the future card, it's blank.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if I could tell you about the future, Now, you look at this card and you say, well, I have no future.
You write your own.
There it is. You write your own future. But on the contrary, we're going to go, we'll say that we'll draw 4 cards. You know that the future was like your halfway future. So that's your halfway future, what you're going through right now. Oh, just in case. Hey, Justin. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while. To me, the cards mean I used to be strong. Now I need to be swift and clever. And I don't know about the future, which is all true. That's cool as hell. Thank
Nice,
you very
dude.
much. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. So it's crazy how it's crazy how cards work. You know, how everything just works. It's amazing, you know. I mean, I'm not going to go on Mount Sinai and preach it to the world, and stuff like that. I'm not, but if I could help one person out, one person, um, that would be great. I know that I've done my job.
Yep.
You know, and you know what, everybody, we're going to be doing that every week now, and hopefully next week we can get the rock lady to come on and we can talk about rocks. So I'm sure she would have no problem coming on, Tara.
I'd have to check her schedule. I'm not sure how she's doing right now.
Okay. So here's what I want everybody to do. Um, Next week, hopefully we'll have the rock lady. Okay. And come up with some stones that you have. And I'm sure, you know, you can ask any questions that you want. Um, and maybe you'll find out the answer why you're attracted to that stone. Second of all, we haven't had it, but in a couple weeks from now, I do want to have a question and answering show. And what I mean by that is I want my people, my listeners, to ask us questions and we will give you the answers to our best ability. We haven't done that in a while. But I would like that to happen. So get your questions straight. You know, I really don't want to talk about what's going on in the world today right now. I don't. There's just too much sadness. There's just too much anger. It's not worth it. It really isn't. You know. But may I make one suggestion, please? Protect the children. Protect the children. Keep an eye on the children. Of all this freaking mess that's going on out there in the world right now, just remember it's all about the children. I mean, we're strong people. We grew up, me, Tara, everybody out there, we grew. And all the crap that we have gone through, that our rich people have put us through, we survived, okay? We survived it, and we moved on. We might have knocked on our asses a couple of times, but you know what? We got up, dusted it off, and then we continued moving, you know? So I have no clue what's going on down the path here. You know, I just, and I try not to dwell on it. I don't, but being an empath, I just dwell on the craziness about the whole thing. So who knows what's going to happen? But all I ask you, please, please protect the children. Keep an eye on them because they really need it. And I really believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. So
That's saying a lot considering you are a Buccaneers fan.
I'm telling you, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Watch them lose. But no, I'm glad that everybody joined. It's getting kind of close for us to leave. I want to thank Tara again for coming on. It
Anytime,
was
buddy.
it was a very good show. It was nice to see Sebastian, Michael,
Heck
Justin.
yeah.
Man, I haven't heard you in a long, seen you in a long time. It's nice to see you, buddy. Appreciate it.
And I have a message out to our people, the rock people, by the way,
Good.
for next week.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. So Tara put the word out for rock people next week. So, you know, we'll know about rocks. Not the ones in my head, but the ones,
In my
amethyst,
gallbladder.
stuff like that. Oh, that's gross, man. Why'd you do that? That's gross, man. That's gross.
We
But
gotta have
listen,
them.
again, thank you very much
Thanks, everybody. You guys are awesome.
for coming into the show. And parents, please, if you can, go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And children, please, go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. If you have no parents, if you have no children, find somebody that you're close to, okay? And just go up to them, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. If you see a person sitting on the street, especially during September, and you know they're out of it, sit with them. It won't hurt to sit with them. They might try to tell you to leave, but you know what? Don't sit there with them. You don't even have to talk. Just be there for them. You know. Thank you and welcome. All right, brother Sebastian. And Justin says, yes, I've been terribly busy, still am, but I'll be over soon. Thank you, Shawn and Tara. Thank you for being on. But sit there with them. Buy them a cup of coffee. Buy them something to eat. Do something. Make sure they're not alone. Okay? Make sure they're not alone. But those three words, I love you, go a long way. They really work. I love you. Because it works. No doubt. It works. And everybody out there in the universe, aliens, UFOs, monsters, whatever, take care of yourself, you know? Because I believe life isn't bad. It really isn't. Life is great. Right now, there's a big hiccup going on, Tara. There's a real massive hiccup that's going on in the world today. And hopefully, just hopefully, it'll be done. Okay. Don't forget, everybody, to watch The Missing Piece with Trish Moe tonight after my show. I don't know who's her guest on her show, but I can guarantee it's going to be a good show. She's a good people. And again, we are on UPRN Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And without further ado, okay, happy hunting. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
And I gotta find my music. Gotta find my music. There's my music.